Ascendant in Capricorn. When we say that someone is from Capricorn, it is because he was born between December 22 and January 20 approximately, period in which the sun transits that sign. Instead, to know if the ascendant is in Capricorn, it is necessary to know the time and place of birth, since the ascender is the sign that appeared at the east point of the horizon at the time of the first breath. And that will be the sign which will be seen in the sky during the next hours. Capricorn, showing himself on the eastern horizon, suggests a destiny where he will have to take care of his own life and also that of others from an early age. Learn to take responsibility to give a skillful response of situations that the others cannot solve. Capricorn is a cardinal sign just like Aries, Cancer, and Libra, and this modality suggests an initiator and pioneer destiny. Capricorn, in addition to being a cardinal, is from Earth and raises a life to learn to build new ways of organizing reality. It is worth differentiating if you are the moon in Capricorn. You need loneliness and value yourself. If you are sun in Capricorn, you are working, efficient, and responsible. If you are an ascendant in Capricorn, you must learn to be responsible and sustainable. Every ascendant in Capricorn will, to a greater or lesser extent, attend scenes where responsibilities are delegated to him from a very early age. And although in principle it resists such commitments, it must take care of it because the needs of its environment so require. It often feels that its demanded reality is unfair and tends to expect those responsible for its environment to do what they have to do to improve the situation. But as this generally does not happen, it spends a lot of time confronting the figures of authority from whom it continues to eternally expect concrete and solitary actions. When she waits for others to resolve and is frustrated because she does not, she is being repeated a childhood situation where it was the father who had to respond with concrete actions, but he did not. First of all, he must forgive the father to stop being angry and free himself from the eternal cling to figures of authority to begin to take over the responsibilities of his life by himself and without anger. If he manages to forgive or humanize his father, he recovers his own life, because as he resolves this relationship, he will resolve his destiny as his identity is amalgamated for good or for bad with that of his father, and his process of self-knowledge is distorted if compared or claimed to him. If he is angry or blames him, he is his slave, for he cannot change his father, but he can change himself. Managing to forgive him or humanize him, even if he is dead, will be crucial to his life. His Capricorn path invites him to take care of what is needed in his environment, because he knows how to give answers that are much more efficient and resolute than the rest. Assuming the responsibility of perceiving reality in order to be able to deal with things that happen in a realistic way, and not as you like or disagree, requires a great challenge of consciousness to be receptive to what happens in the present time. Being open to reality is a titanic task that requires overcoming the need to live from what society considers correct and transcend the ways in which we have been educated to be a builder of new paradigms and new structures of reality. Ever since we were kids, they ordered us with schedules, meals, rest, school, and inhibited our ability to be spontaneous and do what happens naturally to us. We have been educated by prioritizing competition, rewarding the winner, and valuing the generation of excessive money in order to restrain the importance of achieving a life that allows us to be happy. The immense challenge of his Capricorn destiny demands him to unleash the mandates to perceive what is really needed beyond assumptions, norms, or demands. How to plant different apprentices of an ascendant in Capricorn individuality scenarios. House 1 in Capricorn. Relying on others or assuming autonomy. The first sign in the birth letter of a Capricorn. Ascendant is Capricornio and initiates the House 1 or the ascendant. He suggests discovering his own ability to go solving by himself the complications that life will bring him. His Capricornic destiny always leads him to solve demands for himself to be recognized increasingly firm and self-sustained. The sooner you learn not to feel conflict in being the one that gives stability and support for the rest, the better you will have it in your life. The ascendant in Capricorn is surrounded by people who mirror his own hard-working and responsible energy. but often resists to assume himself also demanding and laboring. In this case, he is polarized into an opposite rebel attitude and lives these ties as excessively demanding and authoritarian. The more you complain or pretend to delegate your work to other people, the more scenes life will bring you that force you to work and be your own support. Although he perceives the self-sufficient and perfectionist people around him as authoritarian, he cannot fail to admire them and even, often, submit to their demands or feel that he must give them accountability. Learning to self-support and support others will be their destiny. If you want to delegate that support to another person, this person will dissolve because it is he who must incorporate the sustaining and working quality. He will have to experience the loneliness of untransferable acts, where only he can respond to what happens with resolute pragmatism. Many times, although you feel a heavy weight, you will also have difficulty in distributing the burden, as it is difficult to trust and ask for help. He is often unclear how to exercise the role of authority, generally because of his father's diluted figure, and tends to be polarized between rebellious or excessively authoritarian and self-excessively authoritarian and self-indulgent. House 5 in Taurus. Slow and stubborn creative commitment or heavyweight and inertia to show. The fifth sign of the Ascendant Capricorn is Taurus and suggests a complex challenge, as it must be expressed with the calm and immutable Taurine quality in House 5, which invites him to throw himself and risk to say what he feels. Attempting to be genuine is antagonistic to the observing and little expressive Taurine energy that resists to take the risk of appearing ridiculous. Taurus knows what he loves, and therefore, when choosing his projects and activities, he prioritizes stability and security over risk or avant-garde. The Taurine quality needs time to recognize if something is passionate, but once it is lit, a strong, sensual personality is activated. From its more integrated appearance, Taurus shows itself solid and confident with what he wants and expresses it with confident tranquility. When you finally get excited about a project, you will do it respecting your times and tastes and radiating security and sensuality. Taurus, slow and constant in the area of the children, suggests that their arrival may be delayed or that it will take time to feel the desire to have them. He feels a lot of responsibility to have to take care of them for his entire life, and when he finally decides, a strong, solid, and nourishing bond usually arises. House 9 in Virgo. Meaningful dedication to existential mystery or rational skepticism towards the sacred, the ninth sign of the Ascendant Capricorn, is Virgo and suggests that his vocation should be of service. He needs to engage in activities that serve to make concrete improvements and finds meaning in his life when he feels useful in helping others. At a level of tension, the measured and rigorous virgin quality finds it difficult to surrender. His suspicious nature investigates thoroughly before he can rely on institutions, teachers, or religions. Virginian intellectual rigor makes him critical of any religion or space of growth or education, if these do not help his environment to grow and improve with concrete actions. At a more integrated level, Virgo in the ninth house understands that we all need to trust and seek meaning to existence, and that not always that dedication can be transferred to a truly committed life. If you relax your obsessive need for others to do things as you like them, and understand that most people do not have their capacity for service, you can start to take care of yourself by calling your surroundings to solidarity actions. Trust your intuitions when they get you to embark on certain places and tasks of service, and trust that you will know how to recognize who you can open up and collaborate with to build together the more solidarity world that you so long for. Scenarios of materialization. House 2 in Aquariusation. House 2 in Aquarius. Creativity to generate or instability and economic confusion. The second sign of the Ascendant Capricorn is Aquarius, and suggests the ability to generate money with creative and avant-garde projects, but warns of the difficulty in achieving economic stability and material order. House 2 in Aquarius requires two incompatible rhythms, since Aquarium quality is dizzying and accelerated and destabilizes the area of economic stability. It often generates uncertainties and unexpected cuts, and the generation of its resources, which anguish and frighten him and lead him to become greedy and controlling. You will have to accept that your Aquarian style of making money includes interruptions and discontinuities, but it gives you great inventiveness and genius to be able to generate cutting-edge, free, original, and creative ways to make money. Aquarius in House 2 offers you to trust that money must circulate and risk being revolutionary in your investments, knowing how to generate and share money and work. The more you stick to money, the more uncertainty you suffer, and the more encouraged you are to invest creatively and share with others, the better your economy works. It must understand that its economic stability is aquatic, so it forces it to renew itself and reinvent itself inexhaustibly, and to generate money without any logic of continuity. Aquarius does not retain for itself, and proposes to distribute what is generated to discover, even the pleasure that it feels when its resources benefit many. House 6, in Geminis. Intelligent adaptability to be efficient or doubts and little commitment in your daily work. The sixth sign of the Ascendant Capricorn is Gemini and suggests the ability to work and order your everyday life in gentle ways and knowing how to adapt to the requests and needs of the people with whom you work. However, he warns of some instability and difficulty in overcoming gossip or misunderstandings with whom he shares his work tasks. The Gemini quality is playful and changing, and it is difficult for them to adhere to hours and routines of work, to comply with or order themselves to too rigorous working methods. Maintaining routines or incorporating diet and rest patterns will also be complicated for you. Twin, open and changing, does not find an easy way to live the harsh demands of daily organization, symbolized in House 6. In extreme cases, Geminian instability fails to assume everyday responsibilities and will transit a life of unstable work with minimal chances of achieving safe and repayable jobs. In its most integrated appearance, Gemini in the House 6 gives you intelligence and adaptability to work with others and the ability to take daily complications with humor and not get stuck in complaints or work fights. He knows how to create friendly working environments with a fraternal and friendly style, optimize communication and good understanding, making the working areas more dynamic and efficient. Geminis connects you to your body, and you can intellectualize and find thousands of excuses not to be busy, or record what happens to his body. As a talent, Geminis in the House 6 will be an anxious seeker of new therapies, always open to alternative medicines and naturists. House 10 in Libra. Work balance and alliances with authority figures or comparison with others that inhibit their own professional successes. The 10th sign of the Ascendant Capricorn is Libra and suggests working spaces that will lead him to learn to negotiate and to know how to listen. To develop themselves laborally and to stability and balance in their professional activities will be fundamental to their destiny of Capricorn responsibility. In the area of authority figures, Libra will reveal a complex game of projections with its bosses, in which learning to relate to them without idealization or excessive fights will be a challenge. At a level of tension, you may feel the work as a place too demanding and arbitrary, where you have to do what others want, and it becomes difficult to make an opinion or try to reconcile and pacify. He finds it hard to feel that he is taken into account or valued. He often perceives that others for authoritarian or obsessive stand out more and have more opportunities. At an integration level, Libra in the area of the profession can feel efficient without the need for comparisons or demands, love so much what it does that it can even become a reference in its profession. The House 10 also symbolizes the father, and Libra suggests a relationship of projection and complement. The father also mirrors him in his profession. He may work in the same field, or he may want to do the opposite, but in both cases he continues to compare himself to that figure. She must learn to observe herself and understand that she judges herself according to how she judged, valued, or condemned her father. In his life, there will be relationships with strongmen parties, bosses, or figures of authority that generate a high impact because they are expected to solve what the father could not solve. He tends to look for a male representative to compare, compete with, or enchant, and then be disappointed. Relationship scenarios. House 3 in Pisces. Resonant and empathic communication capture or confusion and chaos in your words. The third sign of the Ascendant Capricorn is Pisces and suggests a loving and resonant way to bind and communicate, but also warns of a certain tendency to be confused in his words and an excessive subjectivity to organize his ideas and thoughts. In a level of tension, Pisces overwhelms him with his exaggerated intuition and has trouble communicating what he perceives with understandable words. It channels mysterious perceptions that are difficult to share or communicate. By perceiving much more than he can express, he tends to remain silent or to isolate himself so as not to expose himself to seeming a delirious. When he studies and learns, he may seem chaotic and confusing, but he is also often the one who asks the right question or who says what everyone wants to communicate but does not dare. At an integration level, it leads you to accept your perceptive sensitivity, to communicate with relaxed words, and to listen without barriers or preconceptions. He acknowledges that many of his best insights appear when he thinks he is sleeping, without striving to be smart or cunning. If you manage to get rid of sentences, your word can become loving and resonant and communicate what happens to all of us, but we don't know how to explain it. Also, Pisces in House 3 links him with his brothers and, in a level of tension, suggests chaotic, confusing, and deceptive relationships. He sees his brothers as vulnerable and dependent beings, even having to protect them on many occasions. At a more integrated level, Pisces usually generates maximum resonance with the brothers, flowing between them in empathy and unconditional affection, where no words are needed to remember and understand each other. House 7 in Cancer. Loving intimacy with the other or child dependence in the couple, the seventh sign of the Ascendant Capricorn, is Cancer and suggests the possibility of consolidating a loving, secure, and protective partner, but also warns the tendency to excessive dependence and symbiosis. At a level of tension, the Cancer quality maternizes the partner and leads him to feel complex contradictions between the tranquility of a sure love, but that minimizes the erotic. Love stability or paternity tends to dramatically lower his libido. She falls in love with vulnerable and needy people, where she exercises the role of caregiver that minimizes the sexual aspect. Cancer in House 7 proposes that the couple be a space to understand the rooted contradictions between maternity and eroticism, already emphasized in the religious account where a woman mother is virgin and a woman lover is virgin, and a woman lover will be embodied by Magdalena, the prostitute. At a more integrated level, the Cancer quality invites you to live the couple as a space of dedication and tenderness, where you allow yourself to express your own emotional needs to give and receive restraint. The support and affection of the couple makes him more permeable, more reliable, and more solid to transit his destiny as a responsible constructor. House 11 in Scorpio intense power in opening up to new projects or destructive competitiveness towards what is generated by others. The 11th sign of the Ascendant Capricorn is Scorpio and suggests that friendships and groups will help you develop greater power in your life. But first, you will have to learn to overcome envy and power games. In a level of tension, Scorpio in House 11 takes you to a dark look at your surroundings, which emphasizes the more complicated aspects of your groups of belonging. They tend to have group conflicts of jealousy and competence between friends and colleagues, and even get expelled or disagreed for taking the place of the eccentric or the incomprehensible. As a talent, House 11 in Scorpio proposes to reduce mistrust, to favor the emergence of an unusual power by interacting freely and spontaneously. Scorpio suggests friends or simply people who cross and bring unexpected forces or resources, because opening up to the unplanned is allowing yourself unknown paths and solutions that you alone could never have found. Scorpio proposes to accept the encounters of the 11th house as powerful appointments with the unknown, which enable unfamiliar strongholds and connect you with powerful people who join in collaborating with your life to warn that, when you are allowed to include others, other ways benefit. Emotional scenarios, House 4 in Aries. Inheritance of courage or basic reactivity and eternal family fights the fourth sign of the Ascendant in Capricorn is Aries and suggests a complex paradox, as the person finds peace in the unstable Arian combativity. His emotional security is based on the reactive Arian fire that leads him to be always in motion and defensive. Aries, in the area of his ancestors, indicates a family history through anger and struggles that are often the original cause of his unexpected attacks of anger. He must know and dive into that ancestral violence to overcome his bellicose, provocative, irritable, and capricious style. Aries in House 4 also offers the talent to encourage himself to be the one who refurbishes and arms a different emotional life to free his family from confrontations and fights. Her childhood has often developed in a fighting, desirous, and overwhelming family environment where one of the parents lived too demanding, occupying the role of both parents. This almost monoparental reality often makes it difficult for him to understand the utility of living in a couple, and, in general, to give him some distrust towards male figures. The invasiveness and oppression of his childhood lead him to live angry, defensive, and to feel invaded in the face of any relationship that proposes proximity or intimacy. At an integration level, House 4 in Aries suggests courage to set boundaries. Take care of and protect those you love. He has the courage to deal responsibly with what is needed, to take over the tasks that others tend to delegate or avoid. Aries offers you boldness and dignity to sustain your desires without measuring effort, gives you the certainty and conviction to do what is right, without delays or complaints, and fidelity with your own passion to continue insisting all the time it takes until you reach your goals. He knows how to fight to what he longs for, even though life takes a long time to make his plans come true. Reading at House 8, ability to reinvent or eternal offense and frustration, because what you long for does not happen. The 8th sign of the Ascendant, Capricorn, is Leo and suggests that he should understand as soon as possible that his excessive attachment to the personal image will only bring him endless problems, because nothing worse than pretending to impose his wishes and come out with his for his destiny as a laborious builder of a more efficient and solidarity world. The more Leo puts pressure on himself, the more fate will delay his caprices to do what is right. His ascendant in Capricorn will repeatedly overthrow his leoniness and infantile eccentricities. At a level of tension, you may live angry and protest, or you may begin to rethink the banality of your desires and transcend a selfish level of your personality to begin to understand that there is an order above your caprices, which is imposed by your own laws to make your life more mature and efficient. He understands that his personality must surrender to the cosmic planes that operate beyond his own consciousness. At an integration level, resigning Leo is realizing that his anger only hinders his own development. The powerful leonine quality allows him to forgive those who could not value him, his father in many cases, and start to value himself. When it overcomes its basic depreciation wound, it can transcend a sensitive and easily offensive style. If he manages to make few things offend him, he recovers immense vital energy to do what he should, no matter what the world thinks. Leo in House 8 proposes to transmute offense into self-confidence. Also, Leo in House 8 suggests that, at the time when a person with a Capricorn descent was born, the family was going through some kind of crisis or conflict in relation to risk and autonomy, or were not encouraged to become independent, or to undertake autonomous and creative projects, because they questioned how much one could trust in their own projects, or stick to the inherited, secure and stable. This family story left an unconscious mark of fear to develop on its own, inhibiting its spontaneous manners, its ability to risk, and self-confidence. Sagittarius in House 12. Great ideals to build a better world, or delusional idealism that fails to connect with reality. The 12th sign of the ascending Capricorn is Sagittarius and suggests great intuitions about how to build a fairer world, but warns of its difficulty making it a reality by excess of idealism. House 12 in Sagittarius has excessive expectations that do not coincide with the harsh reality imposed on him by his ascendant in Capricorn. His utopian dreams lead him to frustrate and live in conflict with his failed everyday reality, and tends to fight with the world for judging it precarious, boring, and unjust. Instead of trying to change what he doesn't like, He settles in the complaint and the claim, waiting for the people with the greatest power, the boss, father, or some authority to fix his life. But he must stop expecting others to answer for him, because indeed, he himself possesses a lush Sagittarian wisdom to become a confident and compassionate builder of a fairer world. At a level of maximum integration, Sagittarius in House 12 can lead you to live in true harmony with an order that responds to higher purposes, where there is no conflict between what happens and what the person is willing to do. Everything that happens is correct and lives with full acceptance of the reality of every moment. Sagittarian wisdom proposes to surrender to a profoundly esoteric perception of life, which can be difficult to live on a psychological level, because there is no longer any complaint, because individual desires vibrate in total harmony with the laws of life, and no longer there is conflict in doing and being what must be. Sagittarius in House 12 becomes an inexhaustible plant of confidence and vitality to be able to accompany his destiny as a responsible builder of his drained world, more just and solidarity. Summary of the Ascendant in Capricorn modality. Cardinal initiator element, Earth, realism. Learning by destination. Pragmatic initiator, supporter, boss, authority, father, tendency. Protesting for how a better world should be. Rather tendency, protesting for how a better world should be rather than going out to build it. It suffers excessive and early responsibilities, loneliness and austerity. Far or idealized father. Regent planet, Saturn. Parts of the body that rule and of special vulnerability. Bones, joints, and spine. Fundamental learning period. From 42 to 49, which is founded on excessive responsibility during the first 7 years of life. Life mission. Work to build the world you dream of. Misinterpretation of the mission. Frustration by not being able to assume the excessive responsibility that your environment, irresponsible or vulnerable, delegates to you. Distribution of signs for ascending in Capricorn. Their action destination is Capricorn. Generate with Aquarius. Communicate with Pisces. Emotionally stabilize with Aries. Express with Taurus. Arranging with Gemini. Complement with Cancer. Transform with Leo. Trust Virgo. Working with Libra. Open new projects with Scorpio. Resonate with Sagittarius. If this ascendant finds a way to integrate these proposals, it will, a destiny of committed builder of a better world, generate with revolutionary creativity, communicate in empathic and resonant ways, be emotionally brave and determined, express yourself with solvency and consistency, organize with adaptability and listening ability, complement yourself with commitment and tenderness. When you enter a crisis, improve and empower yourself, trust in realism and pragmatism, working in harmony and generating peaceful alliances and agreements. Open up to the new with powerful transformative commitment, resonate with possible ideals of justice to shape. If this ascendant does not find a way to integrate these proposals, he will suffer a destiny of demand and loneliness, generate resources in an unstable and intermittent manner, communicate in confusing and delusional ways, be emotionally reactive and aggressive, show yourself stubborn and capricious, organize with doubts and instability, complement with children and dependent people. Resisting change when there is trouble will make you more capricious and tyrant. Skepticism to surrender to the mystery and to trust. Living in an uncertain world of work where you will never feel safe or empowered. Don't open up to the new because you're suspicious of others. Enchant yourself with an ideal world you will never be able to reach.